Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adria Prameswara Mudardani and my last three digit of name is 164. I'm here because I'm gonna do a presentation about Austrian law system. First, we have introduction about Austrian law system. As we know that legal norms, Austrian law are those norms in Austria whose observance and compliance can generally be enforced by the powers of the state. The terms "the law" and "the legal system" are adequately understood to mean a binding system or set of rules given human community, which can be enforced by coercion if necessary. The fundamental principle of every state under the rule of law is that its legal system and its legal norms apply equally to all. In the Austrian legal system, this principle applies not only to all persons, companies, associations, and so forth, but also to the state itself. As Austria is a member of the European Union law is applicable in Austria. In the European Union, the same principle of hierarchy of norms can be found. European Union law is based on primary legislation and secondary legislation. Primary legislation is created of the treaties, general principle established by the Court of Justice of the European Union, and international agreements. Secondary legislation is made of all the acts which enable the European Union to exercise its power. Next, we have the hierarchical structure of Austrian legal system. The hierarchical structure of Austrian legal system is derived from Roman law. Because of this tier-based legal system, lower-ranking laws and ordinances are subject to higher-ranking laws and regulations. The European the European Union Acts of Accession, the Austrian Federal Constitution and individual constitutional law are the highest tiers. State and federal laws are subordinate to one another because of their lower status in the legal hierarchy. The state authorities may issue regulation or make decisions based on this. European Union law came into effect on January 1, 1995, when Austria became a member of European Union. The United Nations Convention on Contract for the International Sale of Goods and the New York Arbitration Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Arbitral Awards are two other international legal conventions that Austria is member of. Austria doesn't have a case law system. Judges are free to choose how to rule or interpret evidence. Harry may, however, occasionally see the introduction of prior decision. Next slide, we have private law or civil law. Private law is not enumerated in a single law in Austria. Rather, it is dispersed among a nearly incomprehensible quantity of laws. The Austrian General Civil Code of 1811 continues to be the foundation of Austrian private law. Civil law, also known as general civil law, is the foundation of private law. It essentially covers all the general areas of civil law, particularly those that have the potential to impact all citizens. Consequently, the area of the legal system that addresses the legal interaction between citizen and subject of private law is known as Austrian private law. Unlike civil law, special private rights pertain to legal matters that are customized for particular groups of individuals, such as consumers, employers, and entrepreneurs. The following specific legal domains are part of the Austrian legal system: One, we have corporate law. This area of law deals mainly with problems that arise when multiple people band together for a common goal. The creation and administration of associations, public limited companies, and other business entities are the primary concern. Two, competition law. Welfare competition depends on free competition, which is a basic tenet of a free market economy. There are corresponding legal regulations that govern this domain. To prevent unfair practice from resulting in unfair competition, competition law should impose obligation on all competitors to follow specific guidelines. 3. We have transport law. This umbrella term covers all legal regulation pertaining to the movement and storage of economic goods. International regulations are particularly distinctive in this field of law because economic goods are typically transported across national borders. 4. Consumer protection law. The main goal of this legislation is to safeguard the individual consumer, who is typically less informed than big business about the law and the facts when it comes to the contract and the rights and obligations that follow. As a result, Austrian consumer protection law provides consumers with stronger legal standing and additional rights, such as the ability to withdraw from a contract and rights under warranty. Last, we have labor law. This body of legislation governs matters pertaining to the performance of labor in exchange for remuneration and sits at the nexus of public and private law. Labor law in particular addresses matters of worker protection, holiday entitlement, regulations surrounding termination, and so forth. Next, we have public law. Austrian public law governs the relationship between the government and society. It also includes legal, the legal relation between individuals which are of direct concern to the society. The enforcement of public law lies primarily with the administrative authorities. In regards to public law, the relationship between the administrative authorities and the citizen is unequal, in that the state has the power to make decisions about the rights of individuals as dictated by law. In instances where citizens are unsatisfied with court decisions, they have right to seek a judicial review. Next, we have constitutional, which is part of public law. Since it is more difficult to amend, constitutional law is given a higher status. In Parliament, a two-thirds majority is needed to amend a national constitutional provision, and at least half of the members must be present to vote. Following adoption, the clause is referred to as a constitutional law or a constitutional regulation. In contrast, a simple majority of votes, the vote of one-third of the parliamentary members are present and voting, are needed to pass a motion in parliament pertaining to a law that is not constitutional in nature. The fundamental principle of the Austrian national constitution delineates the highest law in the legal hierarchy of Austria. These four guiding concepts are the Republican principle, democratic principle, the liberal principle, and the concept of the separation of power. The fundamental constitutional legal framework is comprises of the guiding ideas. The principle are therefore given constitutional weight, meaning that any concrete alteration to the national constitution can only occur with the consent of the Austrian people in a referendum. Next, we have trade law, which also is part of public law. One of the most significant legislative frameworks for establishing a trade or business in Austria is the Austrian Trade Act. Additionally, entrepreneurs must take into account a number of supplemental legal provisions, such as the Opening Hours Act and the Goods Transport Act dated 1994. The relevant Trade Act is continuously modified. Lastly, we have criminal law. The area of public law that defines criminal acts and specific the associated penalty is known as criminal law in the Austrian legal system. The Austrian Criminal Code contains the majority of criminal law regulation. Crimes like the theft and personal injury are covered in separate paragraphs, along with offences like neglecting maintenance obligation. The criminal code punishments are applied only by the courts, and in theory they are applicable to natural persons. Criminal offences may also be held against legal entities, such as a business or organization. However, the law lacks the responsibility of association, regulate this instead of the criminal code. That's it. That's enough for my presentation about Australian legal system. And thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.